Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how you can score over 6,000 with the Worthy Rivals team. However, in this one we've changed a couple of things comparative to our target Goku team. So here we've added a couple more modifiers, increased the damage that the opposition will do, and increased his defense. This is because this team has no free-to-play options basically, and is a little bit less accessible to most players. Most players, in general, will need to have some level units to run the Worthy Rivals team, at least on physical. However, you can definitely have a much higher score cap than with the target Goku team. I think the Worthy Rivals team is probably way easier to score higher. In fact, you could probably go no item and raise your score all the way up to 6,400 depending on how lucky you get. So you can definitely hit much higher scores with Worthy Rivals, at least from what I can put together. And so I think if you're looking to set a high score, you're probably better off running the Worthy Rivals team, as with double Piccolo you're pretty much able to dominate the entire event. Now, in terms of team makeup, it's pretty straightforward. We have Easy A Piccolo on the one rotation alongside Easy A Piccolo. Reason being is we're going to transform the one Piccolo as soon as he gets to around 400k defense, which won't take too long. And this is going to mean we have a pretty lethal combination. Especially if the other Piccolo is a friend lead that has maybe 79% or a dupe in him, then it's more than likely he'll be able to hold his own quite well. So by having a combination of the two, you tend to have a pretty good time. So that'll be our one rotation, and then on the other rotation we'll be running the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta alongside the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta Xeno. So one of them, or both of them I guess, are crossover units. They link up pretty well together, but they do lack ki, so you are going to have to try and organize some key orbs for them. You'll see that quite early on here I do struggle to get them key, because you do need to make sure you prioritize orbs for them. If you don't, you can tend to have a little bit of a hard time. But that'll be our one rotation, and then as our floaters, well, we're gonna have some pretty straightforward units. On the global side, we don't have his EZA yet, but MVP 17 will work more than fine. You won't have any problems with him overall, and so things will be pretty straightforward. Then on the other side of things, we're also going to have, of course, the physical Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, or the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta, who's going to be our floater as well, a unit that gains strength depending on how many physical units are in the rotation. Because the entire team is physical, this means that he's in a pretty good space. He also makes orbs, which will help us out in terms of kind of reorganizing our team. You can also use the Beerus here. The physical Beerus is also a good choice for the Worthy Rivals team, because he creates rainbow orbs, which again does tend to help out quite a bit. So I would highly suggest you do this if you are looking at running a team. He could replace both 17 or the Transforming Vegeta. Transforming Vegeta does a fine job in this team, but the big thing is, like, in terms of transforming Vegeta, that quite frankly he needs to super each turn. As long as you have Vegeta super each turn, things are then pretty decent altogether, and his defense sits at a relatively solid level. If he doesn't super, it can be a little bit underwhelming, so you need to make sure that he gets those supers, especially early on. Once you have him supering a couple times, he'll be more than fine, but the strength phase is always going to give you some problems, which is why I always suggest to people that you always get or take the support option item, or support item option, and you leave it so that you can take one support item. For me, taking these Whis gives me more comfort in securing my score of 6,200 than anything else. So I would suggest doing that if I were you, but you don't really have to, but I would suggest it. And those two Whis we're going to use automatically once we get to the strength UI phase, 100%. We're not going to bother waiting, I should say, at all. We're just going to jump straight in at the strength UI phase and basically make sure that we have used the two Whis. The reason being is the other rotation can tend to struggle a little bit. So honestly speaking, it's just better to use the Whis and to secure the strength phase than to not secure the strength phase, and thus things will run a little bit better. At least, yeah, from my side, I think things will run a little bit better. So I made sure I used the Whis during the strength UI phase. Again, if you replace MVP 17, if you have like a rainbow Beerus, or even if you just get a bit lucky with the MVP 17, you should actually pretty much be fine to try and no item this. A lot of it's going to depend on your dupes in your units, because if you have dupes in your units and they can all crit, the strength UI phase can actually go quite quickly. Like Piccolo, for example, it can actually go really quickly if you get the like good positioning with Piccolo. Like if he crits, if he gets his multiple super attacks off and things like that, then it actually tends to go quite well, and you don't really need to probably use the items. Whereas if you don't get a lot of luck with his additionals, then you can struggle a tiny bit with the stage, and so I would suggest using the items. Just because, like I said, it can cause you some problems, so at least maybe consider, like using the items. But if you want to max out your score, you're going to just select the no support item option, and then things will go a little bit better. But you can see here that we've got to the UI phase, and Piccolo will pretty much do the large brunt of the work. Because all of our units have type advantage, we're not concerned anymore about damage. Even MVP 17 without his damage reduction won't die to a super from UI Goku, so our team is fine. If you're on the JP side of things, you have an EZA for MVP 17, and so things will be running pretty well for you, to be honest. But yeah, overall this run was obviously quite nice. It was cool to get a higher score than using the target Goku team. I do believe you could get an even higher score. If I'm being honest, I think you could probably push to the 6,400s quite comfortably with this team. Again, just depends on if you want to take the gamble on the support item. I would take the support items if you're looking to just secure a score like this one. However, if you are looking to secure a higher score, then you can obviously drop away with the items. I think it's more than fine. And yeah, just basically go for it. Try your very best and just see how things go. I think personally speaking, you can even go for higher scores with different team builds. But I think this is probably one of the easier ones to do, because you only really have to worry about the strength UI phase, which makes things tend to operate pretty nicely. With that being said, if there's anything else, I would say this is probably not as free-to-play friendly as my other team. So I did leave a link to the target Goku team in the right-hand corner, so that you guys can take a look at that team if you are interested in maybe trying that one out. But beyond that, that basically covers everything you need to know. There shouldn't really be any major problems or major issues. But if you are having problems with team build, you can always let me know. There are plenty of team builds out there though, so please always take a look on Twitter, on Reddit. Plenty of people are running different teams. I think I saw someone running a full strength Wicked Bloodline target Goku team, or Terrifying Conquerors Movie Bosses hybrid team, and that one scored like a solid 6,400 or something. So you can definitely run a lot of variants of teams. I think that's one of the cool things about the options they've given us. So I think most players shouldn't really have like a huge problem. Obviously, if you are having issues, always let me know. You can even hit me up on Twitter, and I'll gladly take a look at your options on your team and make a team for you or help you out. But for me, it was nice to upgrade the score It's nice to get a little bit of an upgrade and to just improve it. Obviously, yeah, would like to improve that score a little bit more. Might do one more run to see if I can max out the score. But I think it's always nice to just do 2 different burst mode options for people to take a look at. I think it's always cool to give them that option. But that's going to be it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye.